Hello and welcome to my cloud assignment for the GCP platform. My name is Autumn Chadwick and today I'm going to talk through all of this assignment. So first we're going to go through the compute engine, so the computer engine that we worked through. So in this one the first step was to set up a GCE instance, which is shown here. So I set that up. Then the second was to actually do an SSH connection into it using my own VM, which is shown here. Next step was to actually launch a WordPress site, which this is the build for the WordPress site shown here. And then we had to make a snapshot of it. So this is the snapshot I built for the same website. Okay, next one I want to talk through is the app engine. So the app engine, I used a few of the tutorials. So this is the first one using the web application for Hello World in Python. So as you can see here, this is the Python codes, the scripts, and this is the actual output for the Hello World. So that's the first one. Second one was actually doing it in Java using the Eclipse plugin, which is the Eclipse inside of the Cloud Editor. So here is the Eclipse and the Java files, and here is my Hello World. Right. Third one was actually using CodeMD to run a web application through that. So here is just a basic application through CodeMD showing that this is a web application that's hosted on the cloud and we're running it through CodeMD. Okay, so let's talk cloud storage. So for cloud storage, the first one was to set up a bucket and store some photos. So in this one, I set up a couple. I just uploaded a few pictures of cats that I have. And so here's one example of the cat pictures that I uploaded. So this is my kitty Layla. Alright, the second one was actually doing a SQL database inside the cloud. So here is a MySQL instance that I created. And then I uploaded a few tutorial information, so I got guests 1 and 2, and then I can get the information from them. Okay. Let's talk translation API. So for the translation API, what I did was I had my WordPress site, and then I added an API from Google Cloud. So this is the Google Cloud API at the bottom left. You click translate, and it can translate to any of the languages chosen on it. So I did from English to Japanese here. You'll actually see this in my final build, because I made a WordPress site in my final. Alright, so for networking, we had to set up networks. So here are a couple networks I set up. 1, 2 is kind of cut off, but it's 1, 2, and 3. Then I set up firewalls for each one. So you can see here, I've got multiple firewalls. Some of these are my WordPress site. Test 1, Test 2, Test 3 are all for the different net sites that I have. So these are different firewalls there. And then under the VPN network connection, I made a VPC network peering set that can connect to each other. So here are my peer networks, set up through firewalls that can open and close. They're open to each other. And then finally, my Make It Beautiful. So for Make It Beautiful, what I did was I created a WordPress server that takes in, basically it has a cloud, it's a EC2 instance of WordPress, and then I have a bucket on the server that hosts all the images for it. So this is just to show the connections between both sites. I did a template for a different build of it. Here's a picture of my cat. So one of them is actually from the cloud, the other one is actually a cloud link that's also shown with it inside of the same posting. So you can see storage.google apps API. If I click that, then that'll take me to the actual image. So I had to change the permissions for that for the open source. Turns out WordPress doesn't allow direct connections unless you go through an API system. So you can see here, different storage, I'm showing where the connection actually is. You can see my example bucket, so this is the example bucket, holds my whole new storage. So if I copy the URL, I can actually show that it's the same image. Yeah, and that's my Make It Beautiful. Alright, so let's look at that. So building in conclusion. So overall, I used less than $1 for this entire project. It doesn't even register because it's so low on the actual cost. So it's showing $2.99 because it can only go integer values and it floors it apparently. Okay, so how long did this take me to finish? So this took around 20 hours total for me to work through, and my costs were less than $1 each, like for the entire project. So the Google Cloud platform's online services, so the free side of it is actually pretty darn good. So let's talk pros of GCP. So I found it to be more flexible than AWS because it's a lot more integrated than AWS is, and you have the entire project file, which is very connected to each other. I also found that billing on it was very much easy to talk through and was very upfront with how their pricing goes and the structures. When you actually click something, it shows the actual price. Let's talk cons. So just like AWS, you have some proprietary software issues with this on the back end. So that's always kind of the nitpick of mine, is I don't like proprietary software. And I also found that this one doesn't have as many tutorials that AWS has. AWS is a more, I'm guessing, platform that's been around for a lot longer, so it has a lot more user base than Google Cloud, so this one has a little bit less in terms of the actual amount of people. So that's my presentation. Thank you so much for watching. This is Autumn. Thank you.